What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to Messi and Ronaldo at non-league clubs. Of course, we're back in Football Manager. Hopefully you guys are doing well. It is part number 3 today. And yeah, I'm excited as always to get into this. Before we do get into it, just to quickly say, massive thank you to each and every one of you who watches these videos. It's been crazy, the response over the last month or so on the channel, ever since FM20 came out in truth, but particularly with a lot of these experiment videos. I'm really glad you guys are enjoying them. They're a ton of fun to make. It's kind of weird looking at Football Manager as a sandbox and seeing what happens. And, well, just to let you know, I did a vote over on Patreon with all my Patreon supporters, and they have voted on the next experiment, which will probably be starting this weekend, and it's going to be Real Madrid and Barcelona in the Premier League. We're going to see over a shorter period of time how they do, and perhaps how their longer-term impact goes on the Premier League. More top clubs, more competition for the European spots. I feel like it's going to be quite interesting. So hopefully you guys are hyped for that. And well, you join me here with Messi at Kettering. Now, I've gone forward 2 years since we left things last time. Of course, last time we left things, both teams were in League One. They had both made the playoffs, but both had lost in the semi-finals. So we're going to see how they've got on over the most recent 2 years. Messi and Ronaldo are now going to be 28 years old. So at this point, they're pretty much in their prime. They're not going to get much better than this. And, well, if we start here on Kettering Town, their media prediction was 4th. They are in League One. First season after we left things, they actually finished 7th. So they missed out on the playoffs last year. And then this year, they finished 2nd. So they have got an automatic promotion spot, which is absolutely huge. I probably should also acknowledge the fact that Nicolas Pepe is their manager. And he's bringing some Spanish and Portuguese flair to things. I say Spanish because he's played in Spain a lot, and Portuguese because he's Portuguese. I know that someone's going to think I don't know that Pepe's Portuguese if I don't clarify that, because that's how YouTube comments work. But yes, you can see here, Messi, he's playing on the right-hand side of midfield in a 3-5-2, which when I saw it, I was a bit like, huh. Now, if we look at his development here, you can see he's actually played most of the games as a striker, although he's got a higher average rating when he's played right mid. And, well, this season, 31 goals, 21 assists, 29 player of the matches. That might be his best season at Kettering so far. You can see last season, the season that we didn't cover in as much detail, he got 14 goals and 10 assists. That's okay. This year, though, he's taken it to a whole nother level. That is the highest average rating he's managed ever since they were down in the Vanarama National League. So yeah, it's his best season in 9 years. He's done absolutely tremendous things, and you'd have to say he's probably single-handedly carried Kettering up here. You can see they finished 4 points ahead of Scunthorpe. On the other side of things, Hungerford, who of course 2 years ago made the playoffs, they are still here. They're in 10th. And, well, let's have a look at things, shall we? So last year, they finished 5th. So they did actually make it into the playoffs last season, but they didn't make it through. What happened here? They beat Southend on penalties. And then, last year in the playoff final, they lost 2-1 to Wrexham at Wembley. They have not had the best of luck in the playoffs, Hungerford. And then this most recent year, they were predicted to finish 2nd. So they were predicted to finish higher than Kettering. And they've ended up finishing 5th. You can see Ronaldo here, 29 goals. He didn't get most assists. That went to Honorat. What a name that is. That's definitely not how you pronounce it. But Ronaldo did get 20 player of the matches. And you can see last year, and debatably, the difference between Hungerford being a playoff team and not being a playoff team was just Ronaldo's goal contribution. He got 35 goals last year, 23 player of the matches. That is absolutely crazy. If we just compare both him and Messi and their statistics for this year, because of course they're in the same league this year, so we can compare things a little bit more. You can see Messi had slightly more goals, had significantly more assists, which makes you think Ronaldo has been playing as a striker. And all in all, you'd have to say Messi just did a little bit more everywhere. I mean, Ronaldo had better shooting on target ratio and distance covered. I imagine if we did the same comparison for last season, it would be quite drastically different. Another thing worth noting is, I don't think either have actually been called up for their national team. Now, I've got to be honest, I can't remember the number of caps either player started with, so I'm relying on you guys here. Please do let me know. Did they get international caps? I don't think they have. But yeah, both players, they've done okay. But Kettering going on into League, well, from League One to the Championship. Hungerford, they're stagnating a little bit. Who's their manager? Chris Doig. I'm going to pretend I know who he is. Ronaldo, I think he might have even been played as left mid this year. He's played 33 games there. He played significantly better as a striker. Let's hope that in this coming season they play him as a striker. With Kettering getting promoted to the Championship, we'll go forward 2 years, I think, this time out. And we'll see how they're getting on. Just one more thing to mention is that there'll probably be one more part after this video, and it'll be a conclusion of sorts. But as part of that, I think I'm going to swap the players around and have Messi at Hungerford and Ronaldo at Kettering. Do the same experiment, not in the same amount of detail, but we can kind of compare the careers if the players were the other way around. I know a lot of you guys asked about that, and I think it would be kind of interesting to look at. So we will do that in the final part of this mini simulate. And well, let's go forward. 2032. I wonder if there's flying cars. I don't have a Scooby-Doo. Let's find out, shall we? So, folks, we're in the future. I haven't found Scooby-Doo in the last 2 years. He's not turned up. But here's Ronaldo. We found him, and he's still in League One. That's a little bit sad, isn't it? He's got 29 goals this year, 7 assists. I'll tell you what's mad. Is you look at his goals scored record for Real Madrid. He got 311 goals in 292 games. He's not got anywhere close to that at Hungerford, but you can't really have a Ronaldo or Messi-esque performances in Football Manager. It would just break the match engine. The rate at which these two players have scored goals over the years really is outstanding. And while you can see, following on from those 2 very, very good seasons, you'd have to say Ronaldo's had a bit of a meh year. Although this most recent season, he's done significantly better. If we look at the tactics side of things, it looks like he is still being made to play left mid, which is aggravating. Hungerford did finish 6th, so they have got in the playoffs. Richard Cresswell is apparently their manager. Did they have a manager change halfway through the year? I don't know if... Oh, they did. Okay, that's kind of big. It looks like they sacked their manager. They brought a new man in. Their prediction was 2nd in the league. They were expected to do big things, and well, they made it to the playoffs, and they won the playoffs. Oh, amazing. Okay, now... I haven't actually checked Kettering yet. Are Kettering in the league? I don't see Kettering here, so that must mean they're either in the Championship. Oh, I hope they're not about to be relegated. Either way, Ronaldo, he's put in a very, very good performance this year. He got joint top goal scorer in the league alongside Russell. Nowhere near anyone on the assists, but he doesn't really get assists, is what we've learned. He got 18 player of the matches, which is pretty impressive. Let's have a look at that playoff final. So they beat Huddersfield Town. Ronaldo got a goal in the 21st minute. He got a player of the match performance. And yeah, he carried Hungerford to glory in the playoffs. I mean, fair play. Fair play. If we just look at Hungerford here, I just wonder if they've won any trophies in recent years. It doesn't look like they have. So they've done well. They're in the process of a board takeover. Let's hope that isn't going to ruin everything here. And they're about to lose all their money. But yes, finally, after consistently making the playoffs 3 out of the last 4 years, they have now finally got promoted. Or in fact, actually, they finished 4th last year. Let's have a look at that. They finished 4th last year. So they actually lost in the playoffs 3 times in 4 years. And then 4th time lucky. Is that an expression? I don't feel like it is. Let's have a look. Last year, Pompey went up in the playoffs. And if we look at the semi-finals, Hungerford Town... They lost 4-3. Now, I don't know a lot about Hungerford, but are they linked to Portsmouth in some way? Because they've got a similar badge thing to Portsmouth, right? I don't know what this badge thing is, so maybe it's just something completely unrelated and it's a weird chance. I don't know if it's kind of a sprout-up club that was born out of the ashes of Pompey when they dropped down the leagues. I don't know the backstory there. But either way, we had a blue... shield with a moon and a sun derby in the semi-final, and Portsmouth came out on top. But the good news is, this most recent year, they won against Hull in the playoffs, and then they beat Huddersfield as well, which is 2 pretty big teams. And Ronaldo did pretty well both years, to be fair to him. So that's what Hungerford have done. We now have to nervously click up here. Kettering, I really hope you've not been relegated here. Please have done something amazing. Okay, they're not in the they've not won the playoffs, everyone. They've not won the playoffs, but Messi, highest average rating, but he hasn't got the top goals or assists, but he has got 15 player of the matches. So he is still doing his thing. Where are they in the Championship? Oh, Kettering. Kettering. So he got 15 player of the matches and the highest average rating, but they've still got relegated. Oh, it's a disaster. So last year they finished 21st. They avoided the drop by 1 place. Let's have a look at the league table here. They finished 2 points ahead of Hull. What was the end of the season like in this year? Let's have a look. Did they win on the last day of the season? They actually lost against Villa. So there wasn't any super late drama. Messi has got the most goals and most assists, but That is 12 goals and 6 assists. That is not great. Has he been injured a lot? No, he's played 37 games. He's just not created a great deal in the Championship. The first year they were in the Championship, he got 19 goals and he had a really good year. And this year's not been a bad year in terms of average rating, but he just couldn't carry the team enough. You can see Kettering have actually invested a lot. Their estimated value is really high. Why is their estimated value so high? Is Messi valued highly? He is. He's valued at 68 million. That probably is having an influence there. Let's look at their milestones or landmarks. That's what we want to look at. So they've increased their stadium. They did have a takeover happen not that long ago. But yeah, they survived 2 years. 2 years they survived in the Championship. And of course, as soon as Hungerford went up, they've gone down. This is the formation they're playing. Callum Patterson is their manager. Have they got through a lot of managers? Paul Scholes was caretaker manager for a while. Is he still at Kettering? Paul Scholes is Kettering under-23 manager. I love that. But yeah, Pepe left his managerial role. They then brought in Lee Gregory. He didn't do the business. And then Callum Patterson, he's had a decent amount of time at the club. He's not done the business either. So, unfortunately for them, they've got relegated. Hungerford have gone up. It's a little bit of a disaster. But well, now Ronaldo gets a chance to prove himself. Can he do better than Messi? Can Hungerford stay in the league for a couple more years? Of course, both players are 30. We're going to go forward another 2 years to 2034. They're going to be 32. If I'm playing Football Manager, age 32, I'm probably considering selling them or replacing them. They haven't got that liberty. I should just remind you guys, they're stuck at the clubs for another 13 years. Yeah, they've got a long time until they're allowed to retire and leave. So this is going to be interesting to see how much of a decline they have. Unlike the Mbappe video, which if you've not seen, we did this with Mbappe. I've actually made it so they're going to stay at the clubs a couple more years. So we'll see how they completely decline when the game doesn't let them retire. But the next 2 years, I mean, Messi's polygon's probably going to look quite drastically different when we go away and come back. And well, speaking of that, shall we go forward? 2034. I'm excited. I mean, Messi and Ronaldo, maybe they've been able to save up for a house on their £20 a week now. Let's go find out. I'm going to be honest, Messi doesn't look very different. He really doesn't look very different. I thought his physicals were going to decline like crazy, but actually, age 32, he still looks very good. And I've not checked Kettering just yet, but he's playing in the Championship, and they got 22 goals and 12 assists from Messi. That's his best ever year in the Championship. What has happened in the last 2 years, Kettering Town? You got relegated, you came third in the league, and won the playoffs. I absolutely love that. They finished on 83 points. They won the playoffs in style. They beat Huddersfield again. Huddersfield have not had luck in the playoffs, have they? But yes, Kettering got promoted. They've got Solbakken as their manager. I mean, he's instilled a sense of spirit, and they finished 7th. Wow, their immediate expectation was 20th. They've played Messi as part of a striker duo in a 4-4-2, and they've got 7th place in the Championship. That is a massive overachievement, considering that was their first time in the league. How close were they to the playoffs? They finished 6 points off the plus, but that's still pretty good. Where is Hungerford? I'm not seeing Hungerford here. I think they've been relegated the first year they went up, which is annoying, but perhaps to be expected. But Messi, top goal scorer, highest average rating by a mile, and 22 player of the matches. How did he do in their year in League One? He got 19 goals, 16 assists, 19 player of the matches. And then this year, you'd have to say he has stepped up, and he's probably been the difference maker for Kettering Town. In terms of goal scorers, apparently Amari Williams has also been turning it on for them. He looks very good, actually, age 24. He's got 16 goals, so he's definitely helped out. But yeah, they've been the two real difference makers. It'll be interesting to see if they can keep hold of Williams, because he looks very, very good for this level and like the kind of player that can make a real difference. But yeah, they've finished 7th in the Championship. That is super, super impressive. We've not really looked at Messi's milestones in a little while. I wish there was a way to filter out, certain awards so we could just see certain ones. But you can see he won Championship Player of the Year. He was in the 2034 Championship Players Select. He's won a lot of awards, basically, and gotten a lot of Team of the Weeks. I imagine he's won Kettering's awards most years. If we look at his competition history, he actually played for Argentina recently, so he has got back into the national team. Is he still in the national team now at age 32? Now, interestingly enough, when I moved the players into the non-leagues, I haven't touched anything about them. at all, other than their age. I lowered their age, but their reputations didn't change, and they were not picked for their teams purely based on the fact they were playing for small, lower level teams. So it's interesting that he's made that step up. Unfortunately, he's not still in the team unless they've got him in the under-23s randomly, which they've not. So he's made a few appearances, apparently, because he has won some trophies for Argentina. And it looks like, actually, I was going to say in 2019 he won something, but I think he got that by virtue of the fact it was the first year after we moved him. Or maybe that happened in real life. I'm talking utter rubbish. Either way, he has played, I think, 17 games for the national team, at least since we last looked at it. So that he's actually played, which is better than what Mbappe did. I think Mbappe played a couple of times in the Olympics for France, but he never played for their full national team. But I mean, given the form that he's shown in the championship, fair play. First ever Kettering Town player to play in the Argentine national team, I'm certain. And, well, we already know the destiny of Hungerford isn't quite as rosy. Let's go and look at League One. Hungerford, where are you? You're not winning the playoffs. Are you anywhere to be found? They've got a curse, Hungerford. They made it to the playoffs again. So let's see. They got relegated. They finished 23rd in the league. They went down with Portsmouth. It was actually quite close at the bottom, but clearly they struggled. They only scored 20... How many? Actually, no, they scored 61 goals, which is a lot of goals, really, but they conceded 88. I'm going to assume that Ronaldo's goals simply weren't enough. We can see here, he's got 39 goals this year and 19 assists playing as a striker. Their prediction was third. And, well, they didn't quite do it, did they? Let's have a look then. So in the year that they got relegated, he got 16 goals, 7 assists. It wasn't quite Messi's 22 goals he got last year, was it? And then you can see here in this year in League One, I feel like League One is Ronaldo's level to, like, single-handedly carry teams. He got a crazy number of assists. In fact, it's his most number of assists ever in League One, and he's had a decent number of years there now. His average rating was really, really high too, but unfortunately, it was not enough for little old Hungerford. And they are going to have to settle for 4th place this year. Right, I'm going to go forward once more this episode. We're going to go forward another 2 years. They're both going to be 35. I mean, amazingly, they've still got another 11 years left on their contract. This is going to be bizarre the further this goes on. Keep a little visualisation of Ronaldo's physicals. I know they didn't drop off that much since last time. I feel like the decline has really got to start happening soon. And well, let's go forward, shall we, and just see if it's going to happen. But Ronaldo, I think you're about to lose your legs, my friend. I take it all back. I mean, Ronaldo is a crazy physical specimen in real life. He's got 20 natural fitness. His pace and stuff hasn't really dropped off as much as I was expecting. It's gone down, yes, but he's still got legs in him. He got 31 goals, but unfortunately those goals have come in League One, which means that Hungerford can't have been promoted in the last couple of years. He's up to 208 caps for Portugal, which means he has definitely been playing for the national team. Has he played recently? He has been playing. That is cool to see. So it turns out if you're a really, really good player in League One, you will get international call-ups for the Portuguese national team. So for any aspiring Portuguese national team players, just get 30 goals a season in League One. Jordan Rhodes did it once, so it's definitely doable. But yes, he got 37 goals last year. That is absolutely nuts. Is that his best season ever? That is his best season ever. He did it aged 34, and they didn't get promoted off the back of it. And then this year, 31 goals, which is nothing to be scoffed at. The last 3 years, he scored 100 goals in 3 seasons, which is crazy. Amazingly, that's kind of, by Ronaldo's actual real-life standards, that's probably kind of meh. But of course, they're only league games. That's still pretty good. But anyway, Hungerford, what have you been doing in the last 2 years? Have you invested in facilities? Has anything happened? Oh my gosh, they finished 4th and then they finished 15th. You finished 5th. Sorry, what? He scored 31 goals and you finished 15th. Did he score all your goals for you? Steve Cook's their manager. He's not a great manager, apparently. No offence, Steve. Let's look at the stages here and the league table in detail. So they got 67 goals and he scored more than half of them, but they also conceded 69. They've drawn 17. 69 goals. I know someone's going to make a joke about it. Don't be that guy. Don't do it. I command you to stop. You'll notice his personality is a leader, which, I mean, you would expect it to be. He's been club captain here now for the best part of 2 decades. But yeah, I mean, he scored 31 goals and they're still finishing mid-table. What was their media prediction? Their media prediction was 5th. You've got to feel like Ronaldo is going to start to decline now in part 4. Like, there's no way he can keep performing like he has been. He's not going to be able to play every game day in and day out. But yeah, not great for them. I'm not seeing Kettering here, which means that Kettering, they've got to still be in the Championship. What are you doing, Kettering? Where are you? You've not won the playoffs. Norwich have done it. Messi has got the highest average rating in the league, although not as standout as he has in previous years. And if you look at the league table, they finished 18th. So he's did okay. He got 14 player of the matches. Kettering's media prediction was 16th. So they've fallen below expectations. And while they finished 7th that year, not that long ago, they then finished 16th. And they're struggling a little bit. I mean, they've got Xhaka as their manager, so they were always going to struggle a little bit. But Messi apparently has, for the most part, been playing out on the left. You can see he's played on the left and the right. He's not played so much as a striker. But this year, 9 goals, 9 assists. His physicals are dropping off more than Ronaldo's, I guess because of his lack of natural fitness. It'll be interesting to see, actually, next time out, when we go forward to the age of 36, 38, and then probably to the end of their careers, just how more quickly, I guess, Messi's physicals decline, because they are declining, significantly quicker than Ronaldo's, it would appear. I mean, you can see the direct comparison here. It's kind of crazy, the difference, actually, when you look at it like that. But yeah, Messi wasn't top goal scorer. That went to Francis, who, he looks very, very happy, doesn't he? Oh, my word, that's a terrifying sight. But yes, he got 9 goals, but yeah, 18th. Not a great year for them, and you've got to worry a little bit with Messi getting on a little bit. Are they going to be able to do it without him when he can't necessarily play game in and game out? You can see 338 goals he's got for the club. Last year, he actually got another 22-goal season. He had a good year, not quite as many assists. And then this year he struggled. I mean, does that coincide with Xhaka taking over the club? It does. Xhaka took over and then they started to struggle. Is Paul Scholes still their under-23 manager? No, he's just a coach now. He's moved up in the world. I need to see how Cheeseman's doing. We encountered Cheeseman Slin last time. Look at that. He's made the move to France. He's loving it. There's his career, because I know someone would ask, how is Sam Cheeseman Slin doing? There's the adventures of him for the Cheeseman Slin appreciation group. He moved to the United Arab Emirates for 5 million, then 8 million. That is a career path. Now he's ended up in France. He's loving it. But yes, that's what's happened to him. I realise if you didn't watch part 2 in too much detail, you're probably a little bit confused by Cheeseman Slim making an appearance, but he's a cult hero. Worth noting, Kettering have continued to invest in their facilities. They had a takeover from a local businessman not that long ago as well. But yeah, they've definitely scaled up their team a little bit better. I think their facilities did start out better. But yeah, compared to Hungerford, you'd have to say they've just kind of made the most of their success a little bit more by continuing to invest. But anyway, we've looked at the teams now. We've got one part left, I think. We'll see what goes on. They might not retire immediately. They could end up playing for a few more years somewhere. Who knows? Either way, next time out, we'll conclude their careers. We'll compare what would happen if they'd been the other way around in an alternate universe, because I know people want to see that. And hopefully I see you guys for it. It's been a fun experiment, this one. It's been really interesting, actually, seeing them yo-yoing. I'm a little bit disappointed they haven't had more years head-to-head, but that's kind of just the way this experiment went this time. You know, it's not always going to work out perfectly. Anyway, we will have part 4 coming your way very, very soon. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already and hit that notification bell. Drop a like on this video if you've enjoyed. I'll see you for part 4 before the end of the week. If you're watching this the week it goes up. And of course, we have Barcelona and Real Madrid in the Premier League coming up at the weekend. So keep an eye out for those. And well, until then, I'll see you guys next time. It is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.